Hi, I want to thank everybody so much for being here. It's really wonderful to have you at this special Eventbrite, valuable and remarkable learning where we're building back for things to be better. And one of the things I want to share in incredibly important learnings today, and you have this free ticket, and I want to thank you for watching this video, is the lesson that I learned from what Warren Buffett learned at Columbia. So as a child, I lived in New York City, and one of my friends went to Columbia as a student, so I used to go there. And when I read about Warren Buffett going to speak with Benjamin Graham, who was a famous professor at Columbia, it made me feel that you should read Benjamin Graham's book, but also focus on this huge lesson. Warren Buffett's dad was a stockbroker and is now one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett with his companies. But there was a time that he focused on what Benjamin Graham taught. And that lesson was about how many hedge funds and people heard Benjamin Graham speak of one last puff. And when we talk about small cap stocks, here's the thing. There's companies now worth over $1 trillion. So on the big side, you have big business like Amazon, Google, Facebook, companies that are worth $1 trillion. Now, when you look at small companies, they're tiny in compared to that. Some of them can be 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 40 million, 50 million. If you look at 50 million compared to 1 or 2 trillion, that's just a different whole thing. And what's amazing is the stock markets went up so much that many people do invest in the ones that are over $1 trillion. But with the small cap ones, what Warren Buffett made a lot of his money in is trading them, because I have to share in my own journey. I've seen a small cap stock go from like 50 cents to $5 or $10 or $20. In fact, I've even seen with options, you could buy a small cap stock at 50 cents, buy an option at $1, and it's $8 or $10 or $12. But one of the things I like about small cap stocks is you can buy the actual small cap, hold it, and then sometimes in a week or a month or even 6 months or a year or 2 years, it's went up a giant amount. And by learning what they share at Columbia with Ben Graham and what many hedge funds do is there's one last puff. So maybe a small cap has went down so much. Maybe it's went from, I've seen some from $25 down to $2. They could go back as they get more in vogue in fashion. Maybe the media is talking about them. I look at Benzinga, even on CNBC, Bloomberg. When you learn about these small caps, they might go from $2 to $8 or $10. And one of the things with options is you can feel the doors are locked. That's my daughter coming in with the lock in a moment. But what is incredible is that when you have the small caps, there's no lock on your money. If you bought the actual shares, let's say a month later you sold them, there's no premiums, there's no loss. It's exactly what it is. So let's say you paid $2 and you bought 1,000, that's 2,000. If it went up from $2 to $8, and you had 1,000, that's 8,000. So you could turn 2,000 into 8,000. So that's one of the lessons I'll teach about in this here, is that you can study with Ben Graham, watch some of his YouTube content. You can also look at Benjamin Graham's books at your libraries and see what Benjamin Graham was sharing with many of the hedge funds about one last pop, because much of Warren Buffett's early money before he became Mr. Conservative was buying the small caps and getting profits. And one of the things I share too is there's a season where small caps are really working. They say the Fed may lower rates this year, next year. If they do, it's likely that small cap stocks like that might really do well. And you could have some of your money set aside in small caps. And it gives you a really possible volatile, because there is a lot of risk. And that's one of the things I teach and work on, is how do you handle risk, but how do you also turn 2,000 to 8,000 or 20,000 to 80,000 or 200,000 to 800,000. That's the type of thing you might want to have in your feather of tips. And many people trade without much knowledge, but I want to share with you my 100-point system that works to help you win and really make money. In my own journey, I've seen as much as 19 times the trade in options, but even with small cap, it can be really much less pressure, because I'll show with options, if it doesn't work, you lose what you paid. Because you're not holding stock. With small caps, you can have so much. So my tutoring and my teachings are really wonderful. We do a VIP tutoring where I'll teach you the basics. One of the things is to learn with someone can tutor you to understand different terms, so you can kind of identify what trading is and how trading works, because it's different. Investment is good. Maybe you have a broker, maybe you do it yourself, maybe you go to a financial advisor. That's all wonderful, but having a tutor that can give you a feather in your cap to understand trading and the psychology of it. And that's where I come in as one of the top holistic psychology authors. I have 2 top best-selling psychology books, Understanding Trading understanding the risk, the volatility. And so many people I've known go into it through my lifetime, people I met when I was 18 to 18. So many put their own money into risky trading. But how many understand it and how many want to really win? And I look at sometimes when there's nothing else out there, when businesses are failing, when jobs are hard to find, having knowledge of trading with the best knowledge, with the most brilliant, the most bountiful, the one that's experienced, it gives you a chance to have that. And I think about so many people from Columbia and Harvard and Yale being tutors and people paying them hundreds of dollars an hour for things that are important, like an English lesson or calculus. And those stuffs are valuable. You want to get good grades, but how many want to get good grades in their trading abilities? How many want to have the feather in their cap? I've seen times where nothing else is working at all in the whole world, and trading can. I want to thank you so much, and I'll share one last thing. You're going to get an email from one of my team members. We're offering, because you paid for free to get this ticket through Eventbrite. If you signed up through the Eventbrite, you put your email in. If you're watching otherwise, it's fine, wishing you well. But if you signed up for a ticket and you put your email in, you get VIP access where the lowered cost tutoring is going to be available to you. It's VIP tutor with me. We meet virtually on Skype or other video platforms. It's over 1 week. I work with you one-on-one with a 100-point system. I was charging $9,999 because people could use it. If you use it your whole lifetime, you get much more out of it. But today I've decided with my Y Combinator team, where I go to school, my other startup people I'm working with in my company and business, is to help you and to offer you coaching at VIP discount rate. So look for that email, and we're hoping to help, because sometimes having the gift of trading risk and trading understanding and a tutor that can really be kind and smart and fun. And that's one of the things growing up in New York. There's so many great people in the stocks and business, and especially in Wall Street, and they had so much to look forward to, so much to think about. And the ones that are immensely at Goldman Sachs, so much money, and I can see why you'd want that, why you take the time to listen and watch. And I wish you wonderfully well. Please do look for those emails from my team, and I hope to work with you and tutor you. That 1 week training, there's a 100-point system. I work to really show you step-by-step different tips, and then you can apply that knowledge into your own lifelong lessons that you've learned. You have a great day. We'll see you soon.